You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event tickets are on sale. The Disney Legend Award inductees are announced. CHOC Walk is back.
The Savannah Bananas were back at Disneyland. Bluey hits the resort hard. We talk about Teresa and Vern's trip to California and more. DL Weekly starts now.
I am the podcast that flaps in the night. I am the deep dive that makes you want to book a resort trip immediately. I am DLWeekly.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of April 1st, 2026. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Tag Bushman. Happy April Fool's Day, I guess. That's the episode. No, I'm kidding. Well, anyway, we would like to thank everyone who supports the show this week. We would like to give a special shout out to Bill B. and Emily M. for becoming new weekly tiers, and to Stacy S. and Chris R. for your continued support. If you'd like to help support the show and get ad-free versions of each episode, access to our supporter-only chat, and a bunch of other perks, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra, read all about it. DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
Details have been announced for D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event for 2026. This year's event will run from August 14th through the 16th at the Anaheim Convention Center and at the Honda Center for the evening presentations. The Disney Legend inductees were announced along with a bunch of activities leading up to the main event. On August 8th, the Walt Disney Archives new exhibit will open. On August 11th, D23 night at Anaheim Packing District returns. August 12th is D23 night at Angel Stadium, and August 13th is D23 day at Disneyland. Tickets went on sale March 31st for Gold Charter members, with Essential, Choice, and Complete members going on sale April 2nd. For all the details and pricing, visit the link in the show notes.
Yeah, so let's start with the easy stuff here. So the Walt Disney Archives exhibit will be at the Museum and Cultural Center, and the exhibition is Capturing Life, Creating Character, the Art of Live Action, which will feature rare photography, costume pieces, artwork, and interactive elements. And then the D23 night at the Anaheim Packing District, again, is going to feature some music, some trivia, some van activities, and the 6th annual World Taste of the Packing District.
Ooh. And then on, again, the 12th is the D23 night at Angel Stadium. The first 23,000 attendees will receive an exclusive Mickey Mouse bobblehead, and 2,300 of them are an exclusive gold variant. And then kind of wrapping it up, bringing the fun back to the heart of Anaheim is on Thursday, August 13th. It's D23 day at Disneyland. So that kind of kicks off the weekend. There's going to be a Disney Legends cavalcade, giveaway of complimentary Mickey Mouse ear hats, of course, while supplies last, all sorts of magical surprises and more. And there's going to also be a Disney Junior Let's Play party that's tailored more to young families. That'll be happening over at California Adventure. So yeah, tons and tons of excitement. So even if you don't get tickets to the quote unquote main event, which is the Ultimate Fan Event at the Convention Center, and then the bonus evening activities at the Honda Center, there's still tons of fun and celebrating to be had that week.
I feel like I don't remember some of the options that they have in previous years. I'm sure you're going to correct me because I feel like you are more dialed into the pricing than I have. I feel like the 3-day passes are about the same as they had been in the past.
Pricing-wise?
Yes. They have this 1-day afternoon only pass that's $49. That's new, right?
Which is new, yes. But the thing that's interesting is like, all of the other ones have, like, the Friday fan pass, the Saturday fan pass, the Sunday fan pass that have, like, because those ones also, I'm like, They have other things, but those are the ultimate fan passes are the one that includes the convention center activities and the Honda Center activities.
Right.
Whereas the fan pass, not to be confused with the ultimate fan pass, the general fan pass is just the convention only. So honestly, I think if you're not a person that needs to be there right away in the morning, that'd be like the shoppers. You definitely need to be there, try and be there right away in the morning to get all the shopping stuff, because that's a lot of stuff happening. If you're kind of more of a curious about what the event is, I think this is great to do this afternoon only fan pass for $49, because the other thing too is the convention center is going to be open a little bit later this year than it had in previous years. Convention center is going to be open until I believe it's 8 p.m., whereas before they'd close at 7, because it was almost like they'd close the convention center about the time things were happening at the Honda Center. If you had tickets to the Honda Center, though, you are no way, shape, or form going to be able to do open to close at the convention center and get to the Honda Center in time for the start of those presentations. But it's nice to kind of give a little bit more to those that aren't able to go to the Honda Center, because the Honda Center is only so big, so it is not as big as the convention center, so definitely more people can experience the activities at the convention center than they'd ever be able to have at the Honda Center.
Yeah, I like the fact that they came up with this afternoon ticket, because we've talked about that with the theme parks before, that it'd be nice to have an afternoon or an evening ticket for Disneyland if you're only going to be there half a day instead of paying for a whole thing. So that's interesting to get more people in there. Also, I think you're right, is that people, as they start to leave and go to the Honda Center, that's going to make capacity at the convention center that these afternoon people could fill. So it's not like everybody has left and we are sitting here. So pretty good. If you're crazy and you want to get the ultimate preferred experience, starting at $1,299, you can get the ultimate preferred fan pass, which gives you Honda Center and the Anaheim Convention Center and a RSP opportunity, which is, what is RSP?
It's like pins.
Oh, random selection process opportunities for select limited edition pins. And this also gets you seating on the floor section of the Honda Center, so you're right in the heart of everything going on. Somebody in our chat was saying that they were looking at getting the crazy.
You're like, what's money?
Yeah. Well, you only live once, I guess. But this stuff looks like fun. The other thing that came up that people have been kind of some people are excited about and some people feel like it's controversial, is the honorees for the Disney Legends ceremony. So this year, Susan Egan, Dwayne Johnson, Anne Hathaway, Alan Tudyk, the Jonas Brothers, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Eric Goldberg, Jerry Bruckheimer, Chris Berman, Kim Irvine, and Bob Iger are being honored.
So this, for me anyways, this is the first inductee honoree class, whatever you want to call it, in a while that I've been excited about vast majority of the people that were listed. Okay. Versus other times it was kind of there was maybe only a couple of people that I was super excited about, and the other people wasn't as excited about. And there's even been more recent years that maybe I scratched my head a little bit when some people were named.
Sure.
But this one, I feel overall makes sense.
Sure.
There's only 2 people on here. I am not familiar with Chris Berman or Jerry Bruckheimer super, super well, so I'd have to do a little bit. But everyone else on this list, I know who
Jerry
they are.
Bruckheimer. He was the guy he's the director for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
So where you see the tree and the lightning bolt,
yeah.
that's his company.
Got it.
So anything you've seen that.
Got it. Okay. Yep. See, it's one of those
Chris Berman is on ESPN as a commentator.
Oh, that's why I don't know who he is. Yeah,
same thing.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so apart from one person, I know what I I'm familiar with their work. So that's really exciting to me.
Kim Irvine. I'm very excited for her.
I'm really excited, but I'm also really shocked because she just retired recently. So that's really cool that she's already that she's getting inducted this quickly. Yeah.
The controversial pick for me, for some reason, I don't know why, I feel like maybe they should wait till the next time or something, was Bob Iger.
I kind of had the same thought too. I feel like maybe not this honoree batch, but the next would have made a little more sense. But But other than that,
Also,
I'm super excited about Alan Tudyk. I mean, come on, tag. Hey, is being inducted.
K2SO.
And K2SO is being inducted as a Disney legend. There tons. If you're not familiar with Alan Tudyk's work, please look him up. He has voiced so many things. But yeah, Hey is one of those characters that he voiced. But yeah, I don't know why. That he was not like on my quote unquote bingo card of people I would have like, if I were to pick, like, who are the people I think they're gonna pick. So he was like a very fun surprise.
Yeah. Obviously, too, we've got people like Susan Egan, who was the original Belle in the Broadway version of Beauty and the Beast and the voice of Meg in Hercules. So awesome that she got, of course, Eric Goldberg, animator. Yes. He's been in a lot of stuff lately for Disney, I feel like. I was super excited about Eric Goldberg, too. I love that they have the Mice Chat article as for Kim Irvine, Madame Leota's
Madame Leota, yeah. The holiday version.
Dwayne Johnson, like, I get it. He's done, he's in Moana, doing Maui and stuff like that. I also did not know until today. I had not been sure because the trailers haven't really shown Maui. I didn't know that it was going to be him portraying in the live action version, but it is. So I was like, okay, cool. So, I don't know. I think you're right, though. I think it's a good... Oh, and the Jonas Brothers. Can't forget the Jonas Brothers or Lin-Manuel Miranda. Well, I was surprised Lin-Manuel Miranda hadn't been made a legend, like, earlier with, like... I mean, maybe not. I guess he's only been around, like, 10 years or something. Because, like, Hamilton was kind of what put him on the scene, and that was only 10 or 15 years ago. In the Heights, and then Hamilton. Yeah. So, good group. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, the Children's Hospital of Orange County Walk in the Park is returning to Disneyland this year. The hospital has a new name, Rady Children's Health, but the event is still the CHOC Walk. The 5K fundraiser will take place on August 2nd, where participants will walk through the resort and experience pre-opening conditions. The event supports pediatric specialty care, research and innovation, family support services, and education for future healthcare providers. Registration is now open at the link in the show notes if you want to support this. So I'm very excited about this, but I'm also very sad about the timing because it's so close to the D23 Ultimate Fan event. And like also then so far, because it makes it more difficult for people to be able to attend both, unless you, of course, are local and can just, get there for the weekend. So it's like, and it almost feels like, I don't know how they'd be able to combine it with the D23 weekend, but I'm just thinking about how like huge that could be if they could somehow do that. But either way, great event. One of these years, I want to definitely make it out to participate in it. It seems so fun. Folks that we know that have done it or do it yearly just say that it's so much fun. And of course, it's for a wonderful, wonderful cause. So if you are local and if you're available, or maybe you're not going to the D23 event, so that doesn't impact you, check out the link in the show notes and get yourself signed up. Because the other thing, too, if you're going and then like, extend your time out and like spend some days at Disneyland, I bet you Disneyland is going to not be super busy the week before the D23 Ultimate event. Yeah, that's true. Also, Rady Children's Health, which was the former Children's Hospital of Orange County, they are like, I feel like one place that's really well known throughout the country is St. Jude Children's Hospital, where they do cancer treatments and stuff for free. Like they treat people for free. Rady Health does the exact same thing. So if you are unable to pay, they still treat the children because it's a children's hospital. Mm-hmm. So super awesome. They've had a long relationship with the Disney company. And so it's a great event that we've heard so many great things about over the years. Well, the Savannah Bananas returned to Disneyland this week. The players, joined by the Indianapolis Clowns, started their day in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Then they took a ride on King Arthur Carousel, followed by dancing and singing in front of the Sleeping Beauty Castle. Later, the players traveled down a main street on a cavalcade, and then after that, they performed in Disney California Adventure over at Paradise Park. Okay. Those bananas were everywhere. They were. I thought it was here on their post, but I guess it's not on there. There were lots of posts. There was one where they did the song from the 70th. They did lip syncing, and they were like everywhere. that was real. I think that might have been in the Mice Chat article. That
they were. Yeah, they were filming like
Celebrate
TikToks
Happy.
and everything.
They did a
around
really
parks.
good job.
I don't know if you've ever watched Banana Ball or how far they always just look like they're having like the time of their lives and having so much fun. They've got to have like just some of the best jobs. And the thing that's really cool too is they spend a lot of time while at Disneyland, of course, doing stuff like this, filming these little videos and having fun that way. But they also spend a ton of time with fans and signing autographs and taking photos and just being very accessible to the fan base while they were in the parks as well.
This video is so much fun, and they're actually like, it could be a music video for this song because like they're very like in sync.
Have you seen how many cool things they got to do?
They did everything.
One of them was like hanging out of the cab of the monorail, and then they were up in the wheelhouse of the.
How do you feel about this one? They are not drenched. I don't know how they got to this part of Splash Mountain or Tiana's Bayou Adventure without getting completely drenched, but they did.
That's a good question. They did it. Somehow they did it.
Dry. I don't know how that worked. But I'll tell you what. I watched this video and I just had a smile on my face the whole time. I thought they did a great job. So I think all the guests who were there when this happened, awesome. The fact that they were joined by the Indianapolis Clowns, another team that's same
new.
energy.
That's a newer team to the league.
This is like a league of.
Yeah, this is like a legit sport. You should watch it sometime. It is like the most not serious sport because they give points for like creativity and stuff. So like it's kind of.
Have you watched a few of these?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you watch this?
Vern and I are fans, so you can see. Well, I think they're on Disney Plus now.
Oh,
but YouTube, they have it on YouTube, so they want to make it more like accessible and free, so you don't have to be locked into just this channel or that channel to be able to see it. But it's a ton of fun, and they also have like time limits, so the game doesn't go on forever. It's just a set period of time.
That's nice.
You've got people on stilts, people on unicycles, people doing backflips when they're making their outfield catches. Like it's wild.
So it's okay. I gotcha.
It's fun.
Well, I'm going to have to look this up now that you've said that. I mean, we've talked about it before, but I feel like I'm really enamored with it after some of the stuff they did this last year, or this last day that they had. Well, last Sunday, Bluey made her debut at the Fantasyland Theater. The first day was very busy with lines stretching to Storybookland canal boats. After the first day, crowds settled and the show has been a huge success. From 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Bluey and characters from the show perform for guests for a couple variations of a stage show, and they do some guest interactions. Next door at Troubadour Tavern, the Bluey-inspired dishes have been popular with long but fast-moving lines.
Okay, we need to talk about the lines first. So, Storybook Land canal boats, yes, but I even saw photos on social media of it stretching all the way to Pixie Hollow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
This was a crazy, crazy popular first day, which is super exciting. I'm actually surprised they didn't do like a virtual queue.
Did you watch Bluey yet, by the way?
I did. So you would be on our plane ride. They had it as one of the options on my little Delta screen that I could watch.
You were like,
so I watched a couple. Yep. So I watched an episode or two of Bluey, and then the other thing too, Troubadour Tavern. They have the magic tape lines out for Troubadour Tavern with how popular the food has been there, and I think it's fun. They have like a little pop-up merch kiosk that they put at the back of the theater as well.
As I was so I love last week our throwback episode, David Fresh Baked, right? Mm-hmm. I generally watch the construction updates on Fresh Baked, and that's kind of what I watch from David. But I was folding laundry this weekend, and he had a video from the second day of Bluey, and I was like, oh, I was curious what this was all about. I will watch his video on it. Mm-hmm. He was having a great time. There's some people, according to Mice Chat, there's some people that seem confused by how this works because they have like kind of a stage show and then it kind of morphs from the stage show into like kind of like a, not really a meet and greet, but kind of like kind of think COVID time where like the characters are kind of
we can do the little
away from
by.
people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And some people come in and they get kind of confused because they're just playing music and dancing. And then they're it's not a traditional stage show.
Right, yeah.
And Mice Chat makes the argument that like people are confused and they just need to make something normal. But I don't know. People seem to love it. Like, there's so many people going to see it.
I do see how it could be confusing because it's in a space that, is like a theater space. So if you're not familiar that they've kind of transitioned this area to these more kind of, I don't know, casual entertainment things instead of the more structured, okay, we've got shows, they last for 15 minutes, it starts at this time, it ends at this time, you just sit in your seat and you watch the entertainment, versus these that are kind of more relaxed in a sense because it's not as rigid as it starts at this time and goes for the, it's just kind of continuously happening. So I think for, the non-seasoned people or like the vacationers, which this started during like spring break time. So I think you had a lot more vacationers and people that aren't as familiar there. So I can see how there would have been some confusion. And the other thing too is it does have like posted quote unquote show times for when those little mini shows start, but then there's not really a true end. So I understand why there was confusion. So hopefully they can kind of clear that up. Maybe it's something just as simple as changing the signage and don't have the posted show times out there and just kind of have it be you just happen upon when the actual little show starts.
I will say the little bit of video, because it has a lot of music in it, and so YouTubers don't leave it recording because they don't want to get copyright flagged and whatever. Yeah. So his video was pretty good of, like, it seemed like a fun thing. And if you've watched Bluey, it feels very fun like that. He also tried some of the food, which is another big thing. And so they had like a Pizza Girl's potato, which is a baked potato with pizza toppings. He said that it tasted like a pizza, which I was surprised.
A lot of people have been all about this pizza potato.
Yeah. He also tried the mini Dutch pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
And he said that they were pretty good. And then he tried the asparagus pretzel that he felt he wanted it to be a little saltier than it was. But it looked really good. The asparagus pretzel looked like what the picture on like Disney Parks blog showed. So
like it almost doesn't look like it's something you can eat. Like it looks so perfect.
Right.
Like it almost looks like a plastic toy or something. Yeah.
He also had what was the drink here? The lime ice block drink with the watermelon ice block that comes like as part of it. And he said that was super refreshing. So if you like pineapple and coconut and watermelon, awesome drink. People have been all about this thing. Poor little Troubadour Tavern that's like this tiny little place is like the place to get food right now.
I'm really curious about the cold brew, and I'm hoping that when next time that we go that it's going to be there, because I have
the mud cake.
Yeah, the mud cake cold brew. Vern and I have a trip on the books in May, so I'm just like, please, 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 please. I think it'll still be there, but still, fingers crossed, because I just really want to try it.
They just need to keep the cold brews around until you have a chance to get there and try them.
Has Teresa been here yet? No. Okay, keep it on the menu. I'm just kidding. Could you imagine?
I mean, I feel like I've not ever heard anybody be so, what am I trying to say? Like excited, enthusiastic for cold brews in general as a category than I have. Than I've heard.
There's a club. There's more of us. Yeah, there's more of us.
All right.
Weekly tiers who rely on a fuel rod to keep their mobile devices charged up will be happy to hear that they are getting an upgrade. New kiosks at the resort now offer the, quote, Max 10 chargers that have more charge and can do wireless charging. The Max 10 chargers have 3 times more charging capacity, but they also start at $80 instead of the $40 for the previous version costs.
So I think this is awesome because one of the things that I know that you bring your fuel rod, and one of the problems that we run into is like, the cable, like we need the cable, but this is wireless. You don't even have to mess with the cable. If you have a device, which most, if not all modern devices, wireless charge, no problem. It also has 2 USB ports.
Yeah. The other thing too, though, is you can get cords out of the machines now.
Oh, just the cords?
Yeah, you can get fuel rod. You can get cables, charging cables now too, and they're universal
and longer. That's nice.
They're thinking. So I don't believe it has come to Disneyland yet that you have to pay for your swaps, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to. This is something. If you're in the parks, if you have any more information on this, please let us know, because I'm very curious about this. I could see this being popular.
Could you swap your old fuel rod, pay the difference, and upgrade, I wonder?
Ooh. Oh, I would
What
love,
do you think
I
about
would
this
do
as
that.
someone who's not like super techno person?
I think this is so like for me, for my household, Vern already has fuel rods and he has a couple of fuel rods. I could totally see him like getting one of these instead of carrying multiple fuel. You know what I mean? Because you have to carry multiple fuel rods if you're not stopping at the stations to swap them out constantly. Because like we said, the original fuel rod doesn't really give you like a full charge. It helps. 100% it helps. But it doesn't give you a full charge. Whereas this seems like it's got a little bit more oomph.
I like the idea of this a lot.
I do like the flexibility and the fact that it's got the two wireless charging and the 2 ports. A family could have one of these and charge multiple devices much easier.
Yeah. The thing I like about it is looking at the size of the ports here. It's hard to tell like scale, but look at the size of the ports. This is a pretty compact thing too. Yeah. It's not like a massive, like the battery that I bring to the park is this massive giant thing, but this looks like something that would just kind of fit like here, on like the back part of my phone. So, I like that, like, you don't have to futz with a cable. It'll just like wirelessly charge with it. I don't own a fuel rod, but this would be something that maybe I would get because this would fit like maybe in my little bag that I carry or whatever.
Well, and Vern uses his fuel rods outside of the theme parks and like just, we'll charge them at home kind of thing. This, I feel like this is a better multi-use.
Do you have the app?
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
Yes.
Are there any fuel rod locations anywhere near us?
I'm sure there are.
Okay. I mean, we live in the Midwest, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
but
I wonder, they seem to they're in airport. Like, I've seen them all over places. So, like, they're in airports. They're in, like,
airports,
other
that's
places,
where I've seen them before.
Like zoos and stuff like that. Mall of America for us may,
so
I could
entertainment complexes. High traffic areas.
I up, down, touch the ground. I think of things to chew, like honey and milk and chocolate. With a hefty, happy appetite, I'm a hefty, happy poo. A rumbly in my tumbly means it's time for snacks.
Well, this week for Snack Chat, we've got a couple things here. We got the first one we can go over pretty quick, is the spring character dining that is taking place. So for the springtime, there's a breakfast, lunch, or dinner buffet at Goofy's Kitchen. And so it's the springtime breakfast buffet from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. It's $69 plus tax per adult and $39 plus tax per child. There's a springtime brunch buffet from 11 to 1, which is $74 plus tax per adult and $39 plus tax per child. And finally, the springtime dinner buffet from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., which is $79 plus tax per adult and $42 plus tax per child.
For food actual items, because unfortunately we didn't have any sort of menus for these special springtime character meals, we do have food item announcements for Disney Channel night. So, of course, this is the next Disneyland After Dark event. Tons of really delicious looking things. Good luck to those going and attending, choosing what you are going to enjoy food and beverage wise. To kick things off, we have an ice cream taco, which you can get over at the Gibson Girl Parlor. This looks like it's like a waffle cone folded like a taco shell. And then, of course, ice cream, all sorts of delicious drizzles. I see strawberry pieces, all sorts of yummy, yummy things.
They have a mushroom Philly toasted plant-based sandwich at Jolly Holiday, which I know, Teresa, you're allergic to mushrooms, but this looks pretty good. Like
the bread looks wonderful.
Right. But I mean, if you could eat mushrooms, that looked really good.
If mushrooms was your thing, that looks good.
I'm excited by this next one.
There's a mixed berry cheesecake hand tart, but the thing that's super fun about this, well, besides the
shape,
well, mixed berry cheesecake, I mean, where are you going wrong there, right? That sounds delightful. Is it's shaped like a Mickey Mouse head, but it is in the iconic Disney Channel mouse head blue, and it's served with a little pretzel wand, like you could make the little Mickey shape like they did on the TV.
The little ear things.
Yeah, the little like TV intro or whatever you want to call that transition thing.
Do you think this is how is this different than a hand pie? It's a hand tart. Like, I feel like it's almost the same thing.
I think it's similar. Maybe the hand tart, it doesn't look like the filling. It looks like the filling's just in the main circle of Mickey and not maybe in the ears as much.
Okay.
Whereas a hand pie is just a rectangle and it's kind of more even throughout.
Over at Refreshment Corner, there's something called the Tsunami Sandwich, which looks like it has like a pork belly or something on it and like some pineapple and like a slaw.
So if you would like just seeing this picture, I would envision this being something you'd get at Bengal Barbecue.
Yeah.
It looks delightful. It looks like it's maybe also served with a side of mac salad, a macaroni salad. That would be one thing on my list to try for sure. We've got some spicy cheese corn dog bites over at the Little Red Wagon. Looks like they're smothered in like a nacho cheese sauce with a probably spicy Cheeto dust on top.
This one looks really good. A campfire s'mores funnel cake. This is available at Stage Door Cafe and the Golden Horseshoe. So it looks like a funnel cake with like chocolate pieces, some marshmallows, like a drizzle of some sort. So looks like a s'mores.
Mm-hmm. You can let out your inner child and order the loaded dino nuggies at either the Stage Door Cafe, the Golden Horseshoe, or the Red Rose Tavern. These look ridiculously fun. So not only is it the dinosaur chicken nuggets, but also like loaded fries. So I see like a nacho cheese sauce, bacon bits, there's some peppers, maybe like a zesty crema type sauce on there. They do look good.
I feel like somebody was like, we have loaded fries, we've had nacho fries, and we've had nachos.
Who doesn't love
Why
dino
would we
nuggies?
not put, like, yeah. They have something called the Peanut Trapped at Red Rose Tavern that is like this looks like some type of like a sponge cake or something with like, what is that, a scoop of ice cream and like caramel and cookies and a drizzle on it.
Yeah, no, that looks good.
It does look good.
There's also a peanut butter and jelly cookie sandwich that you can get over at the Harbor Galley. So it looks kind of like a whoopie pie type situation.
Is the cookie a peanut butter cookie and then the jelly's the
That's
inside?
my guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my guess.
I'm fascinated by this. There's a campfire donuts skewer at Cafe Daisy. It doesn't say new, which makes me think that maybe they had this at one of the last Disney Channel nights.
Yeah, that could be.
Where it looks like it's got is this actually like a marshmallow and then like a donut and then a marshmallow and a donut and then like some type of drizzle?
Chocolate drizzle. Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like to me.
Is that chocolate? It looks red.
Oh, well.
Maybe it's like a strawberry drizzle. Anyway.
Maybe. You can also get the Power Lime drink at Cafe Daisy. No explanation as to what this neon concoction is, but it does have like the sour, like, what do you call those? Like
Power
the
lime.
sour. Those aren't the Power Lime. So those are like the sour, what are those called? Strips? They're like sour strip candy things.
Yeah.
Because the Power Lime is more like a taffy.
Yeah, okay. Yep. There's a hibiscus limeade at Little Red Wagon, Galactic Grill, and Red Rose Tavern. This has looks like some colored sugar on the brim, and then a pretty dark red beverage.
There's also a peanut chicken crunch witch that you can get over at the Galactic Grill.
This looks good.
It does look good. So we've got like a breaded chicken patty. There's some sort of like aioli type sauce. There's a coleslaw looking layer, some peppers on like a brioche looking bun.
Looks good. There's the Agent P churro, which is available at the churros near Buzz Lightyear, Astro Blasters, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and Sleeping Beauty Castle. This looks like a standard churro with the sugar that's like a blue sugar with like a caramel drizzle on top of it. Although it also looks like in the background, is that like a different?
Yeah, there looks to be like an orange one too.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm kind of sad. Good thing Vern is not here. He's still in Trivia Land because he would be sad that there was only one specialty churro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like that, I say his name and suddenly he's emerging.
There's only one churro, Vern.
There's only one specialty churro for, what is it?
Disney
Channel night.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't even tell us what it is.
We don't even know. But it looks delightful.
I love that you mentioned Vern's name, and poof, here he is.
Vern and churros, and he comes running up.
Churro, and I heard it's too bad Vern's not here. And here I am.
Well, it is that time again for our friend Eric over at Concy Ears to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concy Ears. Welcome to the D180. While Ted and Teresa cover all things Disneyland, in the D180 we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. So let's jump right in. Let's take a trip this week. Where? Well, the sky is the limit. It's your choice because between March 25th, 2026 and August 31st, 2026, you can book National Geographic Expeditions signature land departures and save $500 per person on select international departures or $400 per person on select North American departures. This applies to a giant amount of trips. Alaska, Australia, Iceland, Japan, Spain, more countries in alphabetic order. These trips are much like those offered by Adventures by Disney. Your party still gets at least one guide through the entire trip. You get access to other places tourists don't get, but you also access history and culture and additional experts that you might not encounter in a normal tour. So let's go through a few of these, huh? Explore history with a trip from London to Normandy. 9 days with history as you visit Churchill's bunker in London and learn about the efforts to free France. Then you cross the English Channel to visit the famous Omaha Beach in person. You could take a more relaxing trip to Norway where you learn about the Floam Railway. Visit fjords along the west coast of the country as you sample cuisine along these majestic locations. Meanwhile, you're also spending time with a famous environmental scientist and cinematographer. Stay closer to home and visit Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons. You can spend 8 days traveling between Montana and Wyoming. You'll meet multiple professional photographers as you visit amazing locations and stay at historic hotels. All of these experiences include food and guides and transportation between locations. You're traveling with experts and in complete safety with National Geographic Expeditions. And for the next few months, travel for up to $500 off per person. If you want the full list, please call one of our Concy Ears and ask for where your next trip might be. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you would like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both DLWeekly and Concy Ears. Then message your expert travel planners at Concy Ears. They look forward to planning something special for you and yours. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric.
You come seeking questions and long-lost Disney information, eh? Sure, you come to the proper place, but keep a weather eye open, mates, and hold on tight, with both hands, if you please. There be squalls ahead, and James and Vern waiting for them what don't answer correctly.
Welcome to Trivia Land, where we have some listener-submitted questions, one of them being a duplicate listener submitting because I got behind on emails.
I thought you meant like two people sent the same question.
No. One listener, two questions, because I am catching up on the email list here. Are you two ready for some great submissions that we got this week?
I mean, it depends on how hard they are.
Or
yes.
that I'm catching up on this week, I guess. Well, I think that these are some great questions.
Okay.
I'm always impressed by our listeners, but today I was especially looking through these and going, oh, I like this. So let's see how you do, shall we?
Good or bad?
Just stuff that I went, I hadn't noticed that, but yeah, that's good. I like it. Okay.
Well, let's hope we notice that.
All right. Your first listener submitted question from listener Ace. What is the only Disney animated film that is also a Marvel movie?
Oh.
It's also in Marvel movie?
Yeah.
Like in a Marvel movie?
No, like is a Marvel film. It's a
That's
Disney.
animated.
Yeah,
It's an animated
Disney
film,
animated
and
film,
it's a Marvel
but
film.
It's a Marvel story.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. It's animated. It's Marvel. The trifecta. Would you like a hint?
Well, no, because it's interesting. Because like I think of stuff like the animated stuff that I'm aware of is like the Into the Spider-Verse, but that's a Sony.
Yeah.
And the show, the what was that Marvel thing that they had on Disney Plus that was like the alternative,
the
multiverse kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not that.
You're talking about What If?
What if? Thank
that's
you.
what it was. Yeah,
That was
I
a
didn't
fun
watch
show.
that.
They had some cool concepts in there. Like, what a great way to be like, we don't want to impact our characters like actually, but what if we had this? Yeah, what if?
What if we had a what if?
Yeah. You know the answer to this?
I do.
Yeah, what's the hint, Vern?
It has its own land.
Ish. He's being a little.
Well, I'm like, what was it?
I'm
Just
getting
an Avengers
loosey-goosey with the
campus thing?
definition of land.
loosey-goosey, yeah. It's Big Hero 6. Is my answer.
Oh,
anyways.
because that, like, yeah, that is Marvel, isn't it? They came from the Marvel comic books.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So
Well, we
you're
don't
going
know
with
if that's the
Yep,
answer.
are you going
but-
with Big Hero 6?
Well,
as
yeah. Yeah, I'll strap on your
Ba la la la.
You get a fist
Baymax.
bump per la la la?
yeah.
You'll put some scotch tape on it.
We speaking of fist bumps, what was it? We went and saw Project Hail Mary, and the little alien thing was like, "I'm gonna fist your bump," and he goes, "No, that's not what
I'm
it is."
gonna fist your
And then when they did thumbs up, it was upside down, and so that was their thumbs up. Anyway,
Yeah,
great
that's
movie.
cute.
If you have a chance to go see it, also pretty good in the movie theater. Anyway,
All right. Your second listener submitted question, this one also being from Ace. What decommissioned Disney ride vehicle can you find underwater at Disney's Castaway Cay?
Oh,
I know this. Isn't it one of the like? Isn't it one of the like under this? No. Isn't it one of the like? Not the sub, but like
Like a sandwich?
no. Isn't it like? Isn't it like one of the like fake sub things that they did?
there is a sub.
Okay.
That is right, but it's not a ride vehicle.
Okay. So what ride vehicle do they have? I'm trying to think of something that would like make sense to have underwater that they've like sunk.
It does not make sense. I will tell you that right now.
Then
So
I'm out of
don't-
it. Is it like a Skyway bucket?
I'm going with Dumbo.
There's a Dumbo, ride vehicle? Hmm.
You're going with Skyway Bucket? That'd
Sure.
be cool because then it's like supposed to be in the sky, but it's underwater.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would have thought like one of those like at Disneyland Paris, they have the Nautilus. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the Nautilus.
That you don't ride, but it's like there. But it could have been from the 20,000 Leagues Sea attraction from Florida that they got rid of. Anyway, that's my answer. Skyway Bucket, and you said Dumbo.
Yep.
I feel like this is
see.
unfair because I feel like you'd have to know this being a travel planner.
Oh, here's your Nautilus.
Oh, they do have one.
Yeah, there's like a Nautilus.
Okay, well, let's not be spoiled in case that's maybe something. Anyway.
All right, so Take's saying the Skyway Bucket, and Teresa's saying Dumbo.
Yeah.
Dumbo.
All righty.
Because it wasn't a ride vehicle. It's specific a ride vehicle. Okay.
Okay.
This is a good week for you because, like, I've been like, huh?
You're-
The random corners of my Disney knowledge is coming out.
It doesn't matter how random it is if you know it.
Your third listener submitted question from listener Ryan P. On the sign for the Cozy Cone Motel, under no vacancy, there is a sign that says this.
Is it words?
It's words.
It says something.
Well, because I just
remember.
remember like a little car with Z's.
I will even give
So
you a
that's-
hint. There's a number preceding two words.
Oh no. No vacancy, and then
And you're correct. There is also the car with the Z's, making it look like the car's sleeping.
Yeah, that's all I remember is the car with the Z's.
But it's no vacancy, the answer I'm looking for, and then the car with the Z's.
What was our hint?
There's a number, then 2 words.
There's even a number, a punctuation, and 2 words.
I don't know.
A number, a punctuation, and 2 words. Is it like number 1 rest stop or something like that?
Oh.
I'm going to say that. NO1 rest stop.
I'm having this weird thought, like that. Like I can't place this thing that happened. No. So was it during an interview we just had where I swear I had an interaction with somebody who said that they love the Cars movies and they got to go to Cars Land in Disneyland and they were really excited that they got to experience the lighting of the neon.
Oh,
somebody was just telling me this story in this last week, and they were like,
it's
"I
the
love
best
cars."
part of the day.
Yeah, and they like that was one of the things they really wanted to do, and they got to do it, and they thought it was
There
the
you
coolest
go.
thing.
I timed my
it is
entire
one of the coolest
DCA
things.
day around that.
Yeah, I have no answer. I am stumped.
Okay, stumped.
It is not a good week for me.
All right, so stumped and number 1 rest stop. Final answers.
Final.
All right. Your 4th question from listener Jocelyn. While riding the Storybook Land canal boats, what is the correct order of castles, villages, and or areas that the cast members talk about?
Okay, so we go through
Monstro.
And then do we come out and it's Pinocchio's village and the park? I think it's Pinocchio's village on the left.
And
then the park from
Peter Pan.
And then it's Agrabah.
Yeah, that's right. Because we go under. Then they
flowers.
flew under the sparkling things for a whole new world. And then you're in the Cave of Wonders.
And then I think
And then it's Cinderella, right?
is Snow White to the right first, though.
Is it?
I think Snow White's cottage is to the right, and then it's Cinderella.
Then it's Cinderella up on the hill. And then Agrabah
And then-
again.
yep,
and then
and then
it's
we've got the
patchwork quilt.
Which is, what is that from again?
The Silly Symphony.
Silly Symphonies, yep.
And now
it's Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, so her tower.
And, wait. Rapunzel, and then it's Toad Hall.
Yep.
And then
it's Frozen. Arendelle.
And then it's The Little Mermaid.
So we have forgotten, because Alice in Wonderland is in there somewhere.
Oh, maybe Alice is in the beginning by Pinocchio. Maybe that's
so it's
what you
Pinocchio,
see.
then Alice.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we also have that. Why do I feel like we're missing like
How many are
entire
we supposed
movies?
to have, Vern?
The answer I have has 15.
How many do we have? 10?
11.
11? State the question one more time, Vern.
While riding Storybook Land canal boats, correct order of castles, villages, and or areas that the cast members talk about.
And it's not like there's double. Like you don't.
Like you don't have Prince Eric's castle and then King Triton's castle, because that's 2.
Yeah.
Because there's the one under the waterfall and the
Yep.
one off to the side.
That's a good point. Yep, that's a good point.
So that's probably 2.
Yeah. Little Mermaid times 2.
I
Well,
am
and
not
then
seeing
Agrabah,
duplicates.
we
no.
got, huh?
I am not seeing duplicates.
You don't see
no.
Prince Eric and King Triton?
Okay.
No, I'm not seeing duplicates.
Okay, so what are we missing?
I don't know. Something.
Okay, what my 14 and 15, I will allow you to call the same thing.
Okay.
Little Mermaid then? That's got to be the Little Mermaid one.
Yeah, because Little Mermaid has
Yeah,
2 things.
2
'Cause it has Under
castles.
the Sea and Prince Eric's thing.
And it's not like because we go past Agrabah twice, but that's not.
Right.
I'm just going to stick with
Well,
it.
and my 5 and 6, I'd allow you to call one thing
Okay,
as well.
so then we'll stick with it. We're just
Well, because
naming
the
them all
area,
once.
because he said areas, so it could be like the Agrabah, like the village,
And then the Cave of
and
Wonders.
then the Cave of Wonders.
Yeah, that's a good point. Same thing with Pinocchio and Monstro. You've got Monstro and then Pinocchio's
Yep.
village.
Yep. Is that the only thing? So when you come out of Monstro, The left is the village. There's nothing on the right before you get to Peter Pan's like little island thing.
I'm trying to remember exactly where
we
Alice
don't ride
is.
this enough.
No, we don't. And usually at that point, I'm always laughing at the ducks.
It does seem ridiculous. And then there's also nothing else because Dumbo's right there, like the attraction.
Yeah,
that seems like a long stretch, and all we have is but we have Alice,
the quilt.
I'm always watching Casey Jr.
Huh?
I'm always watching Casey Jr.
Yeah. I think that's good.
That's a
he
good
said
one.
that there's a couple of them that like you could say are
you know we're gonna
the same.
kick ourselves.
There's gonna be some obvious something. I'm gonna be like, what? And our friends that listen to the podcast that have worked on this attraction,
probably
Stephanie,
screaming.
is
Yeah.
probably screaming at this now. How could you? No, it's this.
The way the question is written, that it says correct order of castles, villages, and or areas.
Yeah.
Taking that at its strictest definition of castles, villages, and or areas, then I would have to say I want all 15. But if I'm going to, if I would say and areas, then I would have to take it at all 15. But by saying and or areas, then I could say, well, all right, 14 and 15 could be combined.
Okay.
And 5 and 6 could be combined.
That's okay. Let's just go with what we have, and we'll litigate it when we know the answer.
Yep. So, all right, you ready for a bonus question?
Yes.
All righty.
Please make it something I know the answer to.
This one comes from Emily M., and there is a submitter note that does say, I'm hoping this is an easier one to give you guys a bit of a break.
Oh,
help us, Emily M.
Emily M.
Help us, Emily M. You are our only hope.
How many Disney theme parks feature the Matterhorn bobsleds?
Oh, one. What?
What? What are you overthinking right now?
Well, because feature. So I'm thinking like the bobsleds. Like, is there a bobsled from the Matterhorn that's somewhere else?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll say one.
And you're calling that Disneyland?
Disneyland.
Anaheim, California?
Yeah.
All right. Final answer?
Yeah, I think so.
The OG.
Okay. Well, listeners, how did you do listening at home? How do you think Tag and Teresa did? If you want to find out the answers to tonight's trivia, you'll have to stick around until later, and we'll all find out together.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, I don't know how many people in our community knew about Teresa and Vern's trip that was happening.
True.
I think we might have mentioned at some point that you were going to try to get out to the Walt Disney Family Museum, but you and Vern ended up going out to California and experiencing not just Disney things, but also just the greater Northern California Bay Area. So what did you guys do?
We got to do a lot. And of course,
you did do a lot.
I was involved. So Disney things needed to happen. So I'll kind of just go quickly over the non-Disney things and we can go a little bit more in depth for the Disney specific things. So for our first day, we went and did all sorts of sightseeing around.
Pause.
Oh, yes.
Why were you going to California?
Yes. So we went out to California. As many of you may know, Vern's big thing is running. Mine's Disney, his is running. And so he is trying to run a marathon in all 50 states and eventually all 7 continents. So we're working through the states right now. I want to say that California was state number 23 for him.
Wow.
That's not his 23rd marathon. That's just the 23rd state that he's run a marathon in. We went out for the Oakland Marathon. And why the Oakland Marathon, you may ask, and not a Southern California race? Well, we have family that lives up there. So we went and stayed with and visited family, did the Oakland Marathon. In fact, they found the marathon, and that's how we got wind of this marathon. So we were there for the Oakland Marathon, which happened on Sunday. So we had a couple of days before the 3 days before the marathon and then a day after the marathon to kind of explore and do all sorts of cool stuff. So first day, we did a lot of stuff over by like the Golden Gate Bridge. We did went through Golden Gate Park, did lots of kind of, I don't know, photo op type stuff around it. On our way over to Muir Woods, which was breathtaking. If you have a chance to go visit, it was really, really cool.
Redwoods, right?
Yes, redwood trees. I was very sad because one of the big things there is banana slugs. I did not see a banana slug. I was trying so desperately, like Vern was embarrassed because I was like, there's got to be one around. And I also didn't realize that they're very large. I thought I was looking for
How big's a banana slug?
They're
I don't think
huge.
I know this.
They're like the palm of your hand kind of length. So much bigger than what I was looking for. So I did see a slug, but obviously not a banana slug because it was not that big. So
why did where? Okay,
they're like.
I was like, where did you even hear about this?
Oh, it's all like there's information all over at Muir Woods about the banana slug. There's merchandise dedicated to the banana slug. So the banana slug's a big deal, and I missed it. So I have to go back.
They are big.
But they're like bright yellow too. They look
that's why they're called a banana slug.
Yeah, they look really cool. But anyways, Muir Woods. After that, we went to Presidio, which...
The Presidio?
Oh, that too. The Presidio, which I had not heard of, but is very important to the story because there's a lot of Disney connections in the Presidio area. So it is this really cool space that at one point in its history was like a military facility, but it's actually a national historic place or park now. So everything's protected. But reason number one we were there is the Walt Disney Family Museum is located here in one of the big, old, very cool buildings. We did lunch in this area too. They have a space that has a bunch of food trucks and stuff that kind of come in park. So we just had more of a casual lunch and did that and then made our way over to the Walt Disney Family Museum. But it's
California
gorgeous.
Cove?
Well, that's just...
it's one of the
things.
That's
a thing that could be parked there.
That's a really good spot for this type of a thing.
And it's right next to that lovely... big lawn green area.
Yeah.
There was all this really nice space back by, there was kind of like a visitor information center.
Yep.
And then all these little walking paths that gave really stunning views of the Golden Gate Bridge. And then that's really well landscaped down there. It was really, really nice. So if you are visiting the Walt Disney Family Museum, give yourself extra time to kind of explore the area around it too.
I would like to sadly admit something. So when I lived in this area and I went to the Walt Disney Family Museum way back, either this area that is this nice walkie area and there's like a tunnel and the stuff you can go over the tunnel of the road and all this stuff, that either wasn't like this then, or I just didn't see it because I am just now looking at this satellite view and I'm like, that is a cool area. Yeah. You can walk across the highway and you're right along the bay. Wow. Anyway.
It's really, really neat. So then the big event of the afternoon, of course, was the Walt Disney Family Museum. So the Walt Disney Family Museum was started by, you guessed it, the Walt Disney family. So it's kind of more of a look at Walt the man alongside of Walt the businessman and the entrepreneur. So it started I don't remember. I wish Vern was up here. He's better at remembering these things. But there was, I want to say 12 or 13 different rooms with different displays. And that first room was even had information pre-Walt. So I got to learn things about Walt's parents and Walt's grandparents and see things that never in a million years I would have assumed I would see. Elias Disney was one of his passions was playing the violin, and they had Elias Disney's violin on display there and stuff like that. I saw younger photos of Walt's parents, Elias, of course, and Flora Disney to see what they looked like in their younger years. I felt like I had only ever seen photos of them older, so I didn't know what they looked like when when they first met, sort of thing. So that was really cool. So that first room was really dedicated to the family root structure, if you will. So, it also talked about Marceline, kind of where Walt came from, that sort of stuff. We talked about his time with the ambulance squad during the war, those sorts of stories you found in there. And even as someone who has been to Marceline and who knows kind of more of this stuff, we spent probably, I don't know, 45 minutes in this first room. Like, it got to the point that I kind of looked at Vern. I'm like, how many more rooms did she say there was? Because we're not going to make it through if we're going at this rate. So there was just a ton of information packed into this first
I'm on
space.
their website right now, and it looks like there are 10 areas of the main galleries of the early beginnings, the move to Hollywood, exploring new horizons, transition into features, new success and greater ambitions, patriotic conscience, all the way up to Disneyland and beyond, and then remembering Walt Disney. So there's a lot. There's more here than I remember. Even
those are like the main things. There was also kind of like a pre-show area. So before you even entered that first exhibit, was where a bunch of Walt's different awards and stuff that he was given throughout the year. So like there was lots of Oscars in that room. It's also where the setup from the apartment above the firehouse, like the chairs and that's in that first. So that's even before you've gone into the museum. You're seeing like those sorts of things. So there's just tons and tons of stuff. So it was very, very cool. So the next space, thankfully for us, was not as like packed with information. It was kind of, again, Walt's transition to going to Hollywood. I took a video for you because this was the most fantastic thing that I was not expecting to see. So the museum is 2 floors. So you start on the first floor and then you go down to the next level. And they had this elevator so well themed.
Okay.
Like, of course, it's the Disney Family Museum, but it was like you were taking the train to get to the next space. So they had like Santa Fe Railroad emblems on the doors.
Okay.
And then it opened up and it looked like you went into like this very fancy train car. There was like a red velvet curtain. And
that's cool.
It was very cool. I was like beside myself. We went in there and we're kind of like looking around like, oh my gosh. And then another couple came in and exact same thing. Like, you're like, you're taking the elevator. It's like, oh wow. Like it was an experience. There are stairs, but take the elevator.
Wow.
And then the next room kind of again goes into like his early days in Hollywood, the transition from losing Oswald to then creating Mickey. So one of the very amazing things that's on display here is some of the earliest known drawing of Mickey and Minnie Mouse is on display here.
Cool.
So that's really, I mean, that's history, right? That's a pretty incredible thing to like be, this close to. Of course, it's behind all sorts of glass and protections and such, but still very, very cool to see that so up close. The other thing too is they had a bunch of other early animation sketches on display. I was fascinated. I should have like taken a picture of like what the shorts names were. I think this one was called Plane Crazy, where it kind of showed the process of animation and how it's got like, here's the plane and here's Mickey and Minnie in the plane. And like this? Kind of, nope. Say that room, but different.
Interesting.
They didn't even count those other 2 areas. That's gallery 2.
Yeah.
I went through 2 other areas before I got to gallery 2 in between gallery 1 and gallery 2. Man. Okay. So no wonder they probably told us it was like 13 rooms because they didn't have all of them counted. But anyways, so I was just amazed because it showed, the sketches. It showed the process. So it's like, here's Mickey banging on the thing, but you don't know what the thing is. And then here's just the thing. But the thing that was fascinating, specifically like with this plane, was there was a sketch of just the plane. And then there was a sketch of like Mickey and Minnie if they would be in the plane, but not with the plane. It was like separate.
Yeah, separate, yeah.
Yep. And then there was like a thing of them all together. But with how the process of animation is, they keep flipping back and forth between pages, right?
Yeah.
So they're drawing on top of however many stacks of pages. When you looked at pieces, so like when you're looking at just the plane, you could see the outline of Minnie.
Oh, sure.
Of where she, like how, like you could kind of get a better feel of the animation process and of that like flipping back and forth, if that makes sense. But like it was so cool to see the indents of the characters on
these are like original
in the plane. Yeah, in the plane, but there's no actual like graphite lines there because it was actually on a different page.
Interesting.
It was really, really fascinating. I spent way too much time looking at that because I was just like, look, you could see like this one. So you could see there's Minnie, and then you can see like there's Mickey's kind of like way down in the like cockpit of it. I was just like amazed by that. I feel like I've seen original sketches before, but I've never noticed that before. So I
Sure.
was just amazed. And then we kind of transitioned more into like the feature films. And when that started, so we went more into like, there were different maquettes for different films, different cells. They had a whole big display of like about paint and ink. And this is where a lot of the kind of more interactive pieces came. There's a lot of little headphone things starting in this room. There was a couple previous to this, but a lot of them from here on out where you could listen to different people that worked at the company sharing their stories about the process and whatever. So it was really, really cool. Oh, the other thing that was wild about Gallery too is there was this wall that you were looking at, and that was like more of the like hand-drawn black and white animation stuff that was about animating Steamboat Willie. This was sketches that was, floor to ceiling, spanning the entire length of this display room. And it was...
You could see some of this, by the way, if you go to waltdisney.org and look under their galleries. So that's what I'm looking at as Teresa's describing this. She also has photos on her phone, but if you want to follow along and kind of get a visual idea if you're able, like there is a picture of this gallery,
So this was so wild to me because we were looking at it, we're like, oh, it's Steamboat Willie, and then didn't really pay that, close of attention to see what, like, if it was I assumed it was start to finish because, again, floor to ceiling, the entire length of the exhibit.
Sure.
Oh, no. It was 348 frames that were from Steamboat Willie that comprise less than 15 seconds of motion picture. And, like, seeing that, and they did this on purpose just to kind of give you an idea of how labor intensive this was. A whole, like...
I don't have the patience for that. More power to the animators.
348 frames for 15 seconds. And then so that
How
was
many,
Steamboat Willie. 348.
Divided by 15. So that's almost 24 pages a second.
So that's Steamboat Willie. So then think about, now we're moving into the feature-length films like Snow White. So then it's just like, holy buckets. If it's like we're just going to do easier math, 350 per 15 seconds. Yeah. There's a lot of 15 seconds in a full-length feature film. And that's not even including, because they weren't doing all the ink and paint stuff back with some of the early Mickey things. I was just boggled. But anyways, so then... tons and tons of stuff. There was cool things that we saw, like there was a Cartier bracelet that was manufactured for Lillian Disney, and she wore it at the premiere of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which of course happened at Carthay Circle. So there was some really interesting like ties back to the family that then were kind of aligning with what was going on with the studio. And the other really cool thing too is if you ever go, make sure you give yourself a lot of time.
Because you were saying you could have spent like a whole day here.
Yeah, because I could have spent... Well, actually, I think the better thing to do is to break it up into 2 days because it's almost like information overload at a certain point that you're like, I don't know how much more input my brain can like absorb because there was just so many fascinating things.
One picture from Gallery 4, which is the transition of features, and you were saying like there's all these little pods that you can go to and like listen to things. There's so many of these throughout this area. Like you could spend like a lot of time.
I mean, a lot of them, some of them were, kind of repeats so multiple people could listen to. But the thing that was nice about that was then it kind of gave your brain a little bit of a break. So instead of just reading the text of the display, you're having people kind of tell you the story.
Sure.
So that was helpful. Plus, they had places where you could listen to those and sit. So then you get little, leg breaks in there as well. So it was nice.
It looks like they have a lot of like interactive things. Like this is a wall that they can like turn things. So it's almost like because some museums you go to and it's like, here's a thing, here's a plaque, here's a thing, here's a plaque. Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of things that you could like do.
Yeah. So it's good. It's good for children because it was, had interactive elements. But then I think it was just good for everybody because, again, like you said, it wasn't just here's a thing, here's a plaque, here's a thing, here's a plaque. But what they did a lot of too was there was a lot of course, storytelling for each of these rooms. So it wasn't just like here's a thing, here's a plaque. There was also like a story about whatever this collection of things was from or during or represented or whatever. And the other really neat thing that could easily be missed because there's just so much information, but every single one of these rooms, there was a section or a corner almost, a little bit off to the side, because it wasn't like it was the main things that were drawing people in, that then was telling the story about what was happening with the family. And one of the ones that like comes to mind now was they were talking about Flora and Flora's health and how her health was declining, and she'd actually passed away at this point. And it was kind of like what was happening in Walt's personal life along with what was going on with the studio, and kind of like bridging that gap a little, because usually you don't really think of the two things at the same time.
That's true. Yeah.
You kind of just think of, what's happening here versus there, but obviously they're happening all together and overlapping. So that was really, really interesting to kind of have the family aspect keep getting pulled back in while while the studio's taking off and what else they were dealing with. There were sections in here that I was surprised that they had, and actually you're in it right now. Gallery 5 we talked about Fantasia, which was great. The multi-plane camera was set up over in this space too, and you could actually look down it to see the different layers, which was very cool. But they talk about the strikes at the studio, and they talk about it a lot, like it was a full display of them talking about the strikes that were happening at the Walt Disney Studios. So that was really interesting, and I feel like something that isn't talked about very much. In fact, many people may not know that there were this really kind of troubled times with the Walt Disney Studios against the animators versus Walt and like the management on working conditions and that sort of thing. So that I was really impressed that they included that and didn't just kind of breeze over like, oh yes, that happened too. But look at this next thing that we did.
Well, of course, this isn't Walt Disney, the company, that has done this. This is the family did this. So, they're not trying to hide the reality of the situation to make like their company look better.
Yeah.
They are just saying, this is what happened. This was Walt Disney, the man, and his family. And, that's everything about somebody, right? Like your life is not just your successes. Like you were saying a minute ago, his life was not just the Walt Disney Company. Yeah. It was also his daughters and his wife and family. So, yeah, it was wild. The other things that one can expect to see when going through, like I saw different maquettes for different films, but ones that I had never even seen photos for, like Mr. Toad and Badger and Moley. There was, The Wind in the Willows, their little set of stuff. There was maquettes for Peter Pan. So it was just interesting because I feel like being, a big Disney fan and kind of digging and searching for this stuff, it's wild to me whenever there's things out there that I just I didn't even know was a thing to exist that I could, and in this case, go and visit and see for myself. So that's always really, really cool. There was lots of Mary Blair original pieces that were on display here, which
was
cool.
Very amazing.
I'm just amazed, by the way, of just this museum seems massive, but also like this room, Gallery 7, they've really done an amazing job making the area like come to life, which I like.
Oh, that space was very immersive. Yeah. It was very, very cool. I also saw some Mary Blair originals. I also saw some Ivan Earl originals. And these are just in the regular main exhibit. There's a special exhibit that kind of changes that we'll get to. And of course, it was about Disneyland because we're celebrating the 70th anniversary still. But so there was just, again, those were not things I was expecting to see here, and I did get to see them. There's a really cool photo op about like 2/3 of the way through the museum, which is one of the benches from Griffith Park. Of course, nobody knows which bench was the exact bench, but this was one of the benches from Griffith Park specifically that used to sit around the carousel, that, as we all know, the famous story that's kind of where the idea for Disneyland kind of sparked and began. And they invite you to sit on it. That's the other pretty amazing thing too, is I feel like the other benches that are on display are just they're on display. You don't get to actually,
Well, and it's in such an amazing part of the museum that there's a giant window that you can look out and you can see the Golden Gate Bridge and some of the Presidio.
Yeah, the other part of that, so you kind of like walk down a little display to get to the bench, is like the real life adventures and all the like nature type films that Walt did stuff in. One new thing that I learned True Adventures, that's it, the True Adventures series. In the room previous to there, like before that, I did not know this. I learned something new about Walt, which, again, you would think that at some point there's not new things to be learned. He had a love and a fascination for miniatures.
Yep.
And they have this whole big display of Walt's miniatures. And I'm saying like miniatures, like almost think like dollhouses, like things shrunk down to that size type miniatures. And he had a passion for those. And a bunch of those were on display in that little the room. I did not know that. I knew that he loved trains and had his miniature train, the Lily Bell, which is also on display at this museum. But I had no idea that he also had a passion for the itty bitty type miniatures.
Yeah,
too.
I remember seeing that somewhere. Maybe it was in Walt Disney World where they had the One Man's Dream thing, where they had some of those on display for a period of time that were like those miniatures that he was working on. Because originally, like, didn't he send some out like on maybe that's what I was reading about, was like, is that had gone like out to be displayed like on like a tour or exhibition tour or whatever. But then he moved from that to, well, now I want to build a park.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
Not miniature.
Yeah, it was fascinating. And then the final kind of big display room is all about Disneyland and has this really great.
This room is
like
amazing.
The layout of this room is cool. The different ways they present information in this room is very cool. It's very incredibly visually appealing. And kind of like the thing that really draws you in is there's this big display of Disneyland miniature, and kind of like what Disneyland would have looked like when Walt was a part of Disneyland, like when Walt was still alive. So you got to see, Tomorrowland and Frontierland to me are the two that stick out the most of being very, very different then as what they are now. And so it was really interesting to be able to kind of like see this, and you kind of walk down this like circular ramp above it. So you really get a bird's eye view of the park layout. They even have things where you can like see into some of the buildings. So like the Carousel of Progress, you can see like the father sitting in his chair with the dog. The backside of Small World, you see like the little dolls, kind of a couple of the little dolls dancing. The Haunted Mansion has a hitchhiking ghost glowing out in front. So it was really, really cool, really well done. We spent a lot of time just kind of,
it's
awing
an amazing model.
At this model. It was really, really fantastic. They had other things on display there. There was the original like castle maquette type thing that they had on display. I actually took a picture of it. It was the original model of the Fantasyland castle.
Ooh.
And they did it correctly because I didn't click until I had walked around to the backside. The original model is set the way that it was originally supposed to be, with the front facing you. Well, many of you know that that's not what is facing Main Street. It's actually the quote unquote backside of the castle that is facing Main Street. So I thought that was really cool that they had it set the original way as well. They had a Circorama camera on display, so that was really cool to see that. There was other fun little things, like there was an Omnimover model that was like from WED and all sorts of cool little things. A little display of all sorts of different ticket booths. Yeah, really, really cool. And then there was also a section about like animatronics. There was a torso, I guess would be the best way to describe it, from Lincoln that was on display. Also, the sculpt from Blaine Gibson was on display. There was an animatronic tiki bird that was on display, but it was an interactive exhibit. So you got to actually control it and see what it was like to program animatronics, which was very,
I assume
very
you
neat.
played with that.
I did. And I want to say that Garner Holtz Productions actually created that for the museum. So I thought that was neat. There was a display on It's a Small World, which then, of course, included yet another original Mary Blair piece of art. But the thing that was really fascinating was they had these hand sketches of some of the dolls and the costuming on them with all of these different notes and all these different details. And it was just mesmerizing to look at these things.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, like crazy detailed. And then it kind of transitioned to the end of Walt's life. And then the final room, of course, was kind of how the world had to say goodbye to Walt. They also had a Mary Poppins little section with different things. So yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I just briefly went over kind of like some highlights, and still like there was so many more things to see and learn in this space. It was really incredible. Then we exited through the gift shop, as you do, and then kind of forgot that there was supposed to be another exhibit because we didn't realize that there was a basement after where we were. So we went down into the basement. Oh, and I lied. The elevator took us up, not down.
Okay.
I was too mesmerized with the theming of the elevator. I didn't even know which direction we were going. So in the basement was the 70th display, which was really cool. There were things in there that I like, it kind of like pinch me moments, things that I was not ever like expecting to see in like quote unquote real life type thing. And so it was just one room that this gallery was in, and it had different sections devoted to the different lands of Disneyland, of course. I was very drawn into New Orleans Square space for obvious reasons, but they had like a little write-up about Rolly and the Museum of the Weird, which included his, I don't know, mock-up of this like traveling wagon type thing that he had built and created. And so seeing all the little details on this, you know, mock-up model thing that he had created was really, really cool. And again, they had like a write-up of what the Museum of the Weird was going to be, with some printed images of other things that, you know, concept art of things that were going to be in there. So that was neat. And then there was an original Mark Davis sketch of the opera, the two opera ghosts.
Oh, yeah, which you were very excited to see.
That was really, really cool. There was different, what's this? This was different, like, sketches for Pirates of the Caribbean on the different scenes that they created for that.
These were originals.
Yep.
That's cool.
What is this? The Tree House. All sorts of really cool stuff. There was a leaf from the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse.
Oh, because they're fake, yeah.
Yep, that was still on display. So anyways, lots of cool stuff in there, but I kind of zeroed in on the New Orleans Square and Haunted Mansion things. So yeah, so that was, in a nutshell, our experience at the Walt Disney Family Museum. So I highly recommend people go. Tickets for this were like, we got them online and they were $25. So it was a bargain for the amount of vast information that we got there. I think if you purchase them at the desk there, they're $30. Still a bargain.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was looking, because I had been there a long time ago, but this is a larger building than I kind of remember it being. It's
very, like, you wouldn't know. It's like, I was confused. I felt, they did a good job. I felt like I was at Disneyland, and like I had walked into the facade, right? What you see the Haunted Mansion appearing as, and it just somehow keeps going and going and going. That's what I felt like in this space. Like, how there was still more corners and areas with like information filled spaces. I like was not understanding how it was working.
I just think like seeing pictures and stuff of the inside and seeing how like futuristic looking and like sleek looking some of their displays are. Yeah. And then you go to the outside, it's just like a brick building. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a very nice looking brick building. Don't get me wrong. With like some nice grass. But it looks
like it's an older brick building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was incredible.
So you're saying definitely go visit.
Definitely go visit. And while you're there, there's another fun connection to Disney, not too far away. So Lucasfilm is also located in the Presidio. Now, of course, you cannot go in to Lucasfilm, but I just think it's really, really cool that it's there, and it's basically practically neighbors with the Walt Disney Family Museum. Some fun things that you can do as a fan. They do have a Yoda fountain out front that you can go take photos with. And you can also, while they're open, go into the, I guess it's kind of like their lobby area, and you can go into the lobby, and there's a couple things on display. Nothing too like amazing on display. I think it's mostly like props, and not like props as in like collector prop type things. I don't think they're actual like film screen used movie props, but like kind of a collection of fun Star Wars type things inside there. But the other really big news, this was kind of breaking news when we were there, is I'm sure fans of Star Wars and of Lucasfilm have heard of a little something called Skywalker Ranch. Skywalker Ranch is very, very elusive. It is not open to the public, and it's kind of like, how would you describe it? Kind of like the
production
retreat
area.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like the retreat and the production backside for Lucasfilm. And so it's like, you don't go there unless you are like working there kind of thing.
Yeah.
That exclusive.
You can't even get that close to it.
No, yeah, you can't even like take a photo from like the front gate sort of thing. Well, they had actually just opened a store just around the corner from where Lucasfilm is, called the Skywalker Ranch General Store, where you can go in, you can buy wines from Skywalker Vineyards there, you can buy merchandise that has the Skywalker Ranch and Skywalker Vineyards logo printed on them, plus a bunch of just other like Star Wars themed things. Apparently this had just been a space that was like the employee store primarily, but it's now open to the public.
Nice.
And we were told that it had only been open to the public for like 3 weeks when we visited. And Vern was like being a super nerd because he bought a button-up shirt there that had the Skywalker Ranch logo on. Well, there was one of many. Well, the one he happened to pick out, we went to the checkout and the girl's like, oh, we just put these. I think you're the first person to have purchased this. And so Vern was like, I'm a trendsetter, right? Because everybody after him is now quote unquote copying him. So he thought that was pretty sweet that he was the first person to buy this specific design of button-up shirt.
Wow. Yeah, they have a lot of different
all sorts of different stuff. There's stuff in there that you can find other places, but there's a lot of stuff in there that you could probably only find here.
Well,
so
plus, where are you going to
cool.
find stuff that says Skywalker Ranch on it? Like,
I mean, they had stuff like that where it's like Corksicle Star Wars themed things, but then they also have some of them say Skywalker Ranch, not all of them. So it was very, very cool. Lots of collectibles and stuff that you could get in there as well. It wasn't really that big of a space, but they had a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that, like, looking at where this is located, it's walking distance from the family museum as well.
It is not far at all.
Remind me, so for parking, did you guys just park like in the lot that's right here?
Yeah, there's like what's called the main parade lawn, which is the large green space in front of the Walt Disney Family Museum. And on the opposite side of that is a public parking area. So you could just pay by the hour kind of sort of parking.
Cool.
It was very cool. We will fast forward. We won't go through all the things that we did the next day, but we did have to we went to Alcatraz Island the next morning. We did Lombard Street, but we went over to Oakland to do Vern's packet pickup that Friday. And when I was mapping it out, I'm looking at the map and I'm like, Emeryville. Why does that sound so familiar? Well, Emeryville is where Pixar Animation Studios is located. And it was literally just off of the road that we were coming over on because we had to go cross the Bay Bridge to get over to Oakland. And so instead of taking a right, we just took a left and like literally, look at that, like 3 blocks off of that main road there. So we went over to Pixar. It was very cool. It was very quiet over there. It was almost like this secret in plain sight sort of thing. Like there was there was plenty of parking on the street in front of Pixar. There was like hardly any traffic. I don't know if we were just there, at off time or what. So it was really cool. So Vern took my photo in front of like the Pixar Animation Studios thing, got out, got my picture taken, kept my eyes peeled. I did not see Pete Docter, but we did kind of just walk along the perimeter because I had heard that they had like a larger than life Luxo lamp and like the Pixar ball.
Oh yeah. Right.
And you can, if you have, eagle eyes, you can kind of see it through the fence and so that was really cool to see that. Obviously, it would be much cooler to be like standing next to it.
Well, yes.
But this was like the next best thing.
See, this is what I was telling you about. See, here's the IKEA I used to go to, and there's Pixar. So it's like, boom, right there. Anyway.
And then to cap off that day on the way home back to where we were staying with family, which was like just south of San Francisco, there was an outlet mall on the way, which had none other than a Disney outlet store. So, we had to stop there too. So look at that. I knew for sure I was doing the Walt Disney Family Museum, but then all of the rest of those were things that I realized were right there after the fact. So it was like, I had my one main Disney thing and then I had 4 other kind of like bonus Disney things. So it was really cool. I also realized after this trip that I've now like visited all the like main like heads of the studios for Disney stuff too, except for Marvel. I guess never mind. I just realized that.
Well, but isn't Marvel on the studios lot now?
Do they have a separate? So is Lucasfilm has something on the Walt Disney Studio lot, but they have this kind of separate thing.
I don't know.
Either. I'm gonna have to look into that because I thought I had like this badge of honor, but maybe I don't.
But still, I mean,
thought it was really, really cool.
You saw the main things that have been around the longest.
And I thought it was really cool that they're like neighbors, basically, that the Lucasfilm space and then Pixar was like so close to each other.
The other place that you could have gone, so we were talking about Skywalker Ranch. If you guys were to have gone a little bit further north, outside of San Rafael, there's actually, from the highway, there is a Skywalker Boulevard or something like that that you can take that actually goes out into the middle of nowhere, basically. And that's where Skywalker Ranch is. And I've driven out there before. Literally, it's like a road out in the middle of nowhere, and then it's just, here it is. So, like, Lucas Valley Road, that's what it's called.
Oh, that makes sense.
So you could go by the main gate here, but there's no way, because this is all mountainous, that you could see the complex. But you can drive down this road, and you can it's called Lucas Valley Road, and that's where that is. And then, so this is one part, but the other part that you see mostly on like TV and stuff is you see the mansion, the ranch house.
Oh, yeah.
And the Skywalker sound buildings and stuff. But these are like, again,
Lake Ewok.
Yeah. So you're coming around this stuff, and then it's like forest. Like there's no way you're seeing any of this, especially with the mountainous topology. But if you look,
that's cool.
Look how out here it is from like the main, everything else. It's out here. So
yeah, it is. That's cool though.
Yeah, because I remember when I lived there, I was like, I'm going to go out Lucas Valley Road one of these times because I'm going to find this. And I remember feeling like I had driven forever and not seen anything. But anyway, so it sounds like you guys had a really fun time.
It was, yeah.
And now it makes me want to go back to the family museum because all the stuff you talked about, I'm like, I don't remember. The only thing there's two things I distinctly remember. I remember the Disneyland model and the bench are two things that, and at the time, I think they also had the Oscars on display, like right off, like where you'd get your tickets. There was a display cabinet with the small.
They're still there, so you can see the very like Disney famous Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Oscar with like the main Oscar and like the 7 mini ones on like stair step thing. That's the original. They have we learned that at Walt's office on the studio they have a replica that they have there, but the original is at the Walt Disney Family Museum.
See, they're trying to get you.
But yeah, super duper fun. So if you guys are ever in the San Francisco area, I highly recommend going and checking out those little pockets of Disney magic. Well, you have heard us talk about our wonderful experiences staying at the Howard Johnson in Anaheim. Well, we've partnered with them to offer our listeners some really great discounts. Weekly tiers can get 15% off their next stay. To take advantage of this discount, head on over to DLWeekly.net and click on the Howard Johnson logo. If you're going to D23, which I know we talked about earlier, now is a great time to get your hotel reservations booked.
Yeah, before
everyone else does. So quick, get on those.
Yeah.
And now, the world-famous backside of water! Not to be confused with the backside of trivia, which is where Tag and Teresa hide all of the answers they totally meant to say.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, where we are going to find out the answers to these questions and see how Tag and Teresa did, and see how you did listening at home. Tag, Teresa, how you feeling about this one?
Not as good as Teresa does.
I'm so curious, and like I'm still just like mulling over the Storybook Land Canal boats question.
Yep.
Well, let's get through the first three, and then we'll find out how you did on that one, shall we? Your first listener submitted question from listener Ace. What is the only Disney animated film that is also a Marvel movie? Hint, it has its own land. Kind of. Teresa very confidently saying that is Big Hero 6 with San Francisco. Tag fist bumping the la 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 on that one. The correct answer that I was looking for was Big Hero 6 with San Francisco.
That's a land.
Yeah, I'm calling it a land.
It's a land.
Yes and no.
It's not a land like
yes
Galaxy's Edge, but
it's not like a...
What do you call it, like a general Big Hero 6 area?
Yeah, I suppose. Because I feel like a land would have like...
An attraction.
Yeah,
It's
something.
got the bakery thing.
The area
attraction
is the
food.
attraction. Now that I've actually been to Pier 39 and I've seen how similar it is, I'm going to call it the attraction
There you
is
go.
the land.
There you go.
Because that's the only reason we went to Pier 39 was to experience being there, and that's the only reason you go to San Francisco is to
I
experience.
didn't
being
ask
there.
this. Did you guys see the sea lions?
Yes, we did. They're so fun.
Oh,
They like take over the whole
I
area.
could
there.
have like stayed there for far too long.
We
Like,
did
just
stay there
watching them.
They're characters, aren't they? If you watch
Oh,
the
Yes.
they're great.
It's like that. Was that in Finding Nemo where the one was really stupid or whatever?
Yes, I think it was Finding Dory.
Finding Dory.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah. We saw them twice. So we saw the ones
Oh.
at Pier 39, and then we went down to Santa Cruz, and they hang out on the pier
Oh.
there too. So we were watching them there as well.
Cool.
Your second question from listener Ace again. What decommissioned Disney ride vehicle can you find underwater at Disney's Castaway Cay? Tag said a Skyway bucket.
Like
Tag also said a Nautilus submarine from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, I like that Vern was adding that one for me.
I'll come around on that. Teresa said a Dumbo ride vehicle. I'm giving both of you correct on that.
Woo!
Because, badly worded question that I read badly. There is a decommissioned Dumbo ride vehicle that you can find underwater at Disney's Castaway Cay. There is also the answer that I was looking for, a no longer in use 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea Nautilus sub, which is not a ride vehicle, but that's what I was actually
a nod to a
asking
ride.
about.
Look at that.
Look, I'm feeling pretty good now. Well, the next one I put stumped, so we know that one's wrong.
Who knows?
So-
Maybe that's what the sign says, Tag. You don't know.
Stumped. A number and two words somehow equates to stumped.
Yep.
So yes, technically you were wrong on the Skyway bucket, but you had exactly the answer that I wanted, and you knew where we were going with that. Both of you getting full credit for correct answers. Well done.
Good job, us.
I
Here-
like this new rule of them writing down the answers we talked ourselves out of and still getting credit for it.
Because he knew the right
I
answer.
feel like this is
he
going to come in handy.
he knew the right answer even though he didn't get the right question. That's
Sure.
how right he was.
You're just gonna start. It's like scattershotting answers, and
No, usually I'm the one that talks myself out of the
that's
wrong
true.
answer. So.
You do like to talk yourself out of the right answer.
Or, yeah.
The next time that
That
you
one.
have the right answer, despite it being the wrong question, I will give you full credit.
There we go.
too. Your third listener submitted question from listener Ryan P. On the sign for the Cozy Cone Motel, under no vacancy, there is a sign that says, it does not say stumped, and it does not say number 1 rest stop. It says 100% refrigerated air.
You know, I had a feeling it had something to do with like air conditioning.
Yep, just
But
like
I
every roadside motel, it'll say free cable or
Yeah.
whatever. Yep.
Or that sign, I don't know if you'll know what I'm talking about, both of you, because I think both of you go by it on the way to your works every day. But on the north side, there was that hotel for literally years that had the sign new Wi-Fi on the board.
Yes.
And I'm like,
yeah.
it can't be new anymore. It's been up for like
Or
2
like
years.
New color TVs is my other favorite.
Yes. Yeah, how long have you had that sign up?
Right?
All right, and your fourth and final regular round listener submitted question from listener Jocelyn. While riding the Storybook Land Canal boats, what is the correct order of castles, villages, and or areas that the cast members talk about? I did the best I could to keep up with you as you were saying them. Please feel free to jump in and correct me if I didn't get it in order. You said Monstro, Pinocchio, London Park, a.k.a. Peter Pan, Agrabah,
We put Alice in there too between
we
Pinocchio and Peter
we
Pan.
squeezed
Thank
her
you.
in
All
there.
right. Agrabah, Cinderella, The Patchwork Quilt, Rapunzel, Toad Hall, Arendelle, and Little Mermaid, a.k.a. Eric's Castle.
After Agrabah, we said Snow White,
Okay.
then Cinderella, then Silly Symphony Swing, or Silly Symphonies, the Patchwork Quilt,
Yep.
Rapunzel,
Uh-huh.
Toad Hall,
Uh-huh.
Frozen, with Arendelle,
Yep,
and
yep.
Little Mermaid times 2.
Okay. The answer that I was looking for was Monstro. Got that? Three Little Pigs houses.
Oh!
I knew that because they're on the island.
They're on the island.
Alice's Village.
Alice's Village is there. Oh, yeah, Alice. Yeah, okay.
London Park. Agrabah. Cave of Wonders. So I could combine 4 and 5 and 6. Home of the Seven Dwarfs.
So that's Snow White.
Snow White, yep. Cinderella's Castle.
Good catch on Snow White.
Lullaby Land Patchwork Flower Quilt.
Yep, that's Silly Symphonies.
Yep. Rapunzel's Tower. Toad Hall. Arendelle. Geppetto's Village.
There it is. I'm like, where's Geppetto?
Prince Eric's Castle. And Atlantis.
Okay, we didn't do too bad.
You did
Atlantis.
very well.
Is that what it's
King
called?
Triton's
King Triton's Castle is
yeah.
Atlantis? Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's the area they're referring
Well,
to.
when they have a movie also called Atlantis, it's very confusing.
No, for sure.
We did pretty dang
You
good.
did. I'm giving you credit because you did really well. And then, like I said, Prince Eric's Castle, Atlantis, I'm combining 14, 15. And, Cave of Wonders, Agrabah, I'm combining 5, 6.
Well, and you're being... Do we have to have them in order?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then he's being extra nice because we put Pinocchio at the front when he should have been at the back.
I like
we got
you
more
two.
right than we got wrong, I think is the point.
I'm awfully fond of you two, and I will allow you to have slight discrepancies. And your bonus question tonight from listener Emily M. How many Disney theme parks feature the Matterhorn bobsleds? You said 1. Disneyland in Anaheim, California. The correct answer that I was looking for was 1. Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What the heck?
1. The Anaheim, California Disneyland, the original.
Whoop, whoop.
We did better than I thought we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
Well, listeners, how did you do listening at home or work or the car or wherever it is that you listen? How do you think Tag and Teresa did? Do you have that awesome question that's just been burning away in your skull and you can't wait to hear it live on the air sometime? If you do, please feel free to send that in to us at dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
And a special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast, Andy Mack for all of the wonderful character transitions, and also to James D. and Aaron C. for supporting at the Club 33 level.
Hello, I am Baymax, your personal podcast companion. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this episode? My scans indicate you have been a good weekly tier. Have a lollipop. Now excuse me while I let out some air. Goodbye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.